If you had to make a to-do list of what Mauricio Pochettino must accomplish with the United States men's national team to consider this cycle a success, what would be in it? I mean, he did say he wants to win the World Cup with the United States, but is that even realistic? Does he even actually believe that can happen? I doubt it. Could he have some influence maybe in our domestic leagues, MLS and USL? Will we continue to dominate CONCACAF under Pochettino even though Canada has been on a rise with Jesse Marsch? Can he change the mentality, the mindset of these talented players that we have? Will he learn how to sing the Star-Spangled Banner? Is he going to start eating pizza with ranch? Those are all tough questions that must be asked. And today, we're going to be addressing all of that. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to today's episode where I will be going through 5 things that Mauricio Pochettino must accomplish this cycle to consider it a success. And of course, the World Cup is included in this cycle, so I will be addressing what I expect as the bare minimum for the 2026 World Cup, what would be a success, and what would be a massive overachievement. And you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What are 5 things that you want Mauricio Pochettino to accomplish this cycle, and how realistic is it to make it to a quarterfinals in the World Cup at home? Semifinals? Final? Probably not. And then 2 years from now, we can come back to this video, react to it in the comment section, and try to see what Mauricio Pochettino, accomplished. With that said, everyone, don't forget to drop a like in this video. Let's try to hit 1,000 likes. It helps the channel quite a bit. And for that, I thank you very much. Let's play the intro and start the episode. All right, the very first thing that I have in my Mauricio Pochettino to-do list is to continue to dominate CONCACAF. And listen, this one is actually the bare minimum. We held Berhalter to this standard, and fair is fair. Win the Nations League, win the Gold Cup, win these terrible friendlies against CONCACAF nations, beat up the islands of the Caribbean. Mexico has an awful generation along with a 200-year-old coach. You have to beat them. Jamaica is talented but completely dysfunctional. As I said before, we call them Voltorb these days because they self-destruct. Canada might be the biggest challenge as their player pool continues to get better and better, and they seem to have found their mojo under Jesse Marsch. No, seriously, the players fit very well into Jesse Marsch's pressing system, and they have the players to alternate very well and go into his 4-4-2 that's been working wonders. But we ain't talking about the maple syrup merchants in this video. And just for comparison, Berhalter lost the Gold Cup in 2019, but then he won the Nations League in 2021. He won the Gold Cup also in 2021, that same summer, obviously both in the United States of America. And then Greg Berhalter also won the Nations League here in 2024. The other two were BJ Callahan that was in charge. BJ Callahan won the Nations League in 2023 and lost the Gold Cup in 2023. And to be fair, when it comes to those tournaments, Berhalter did a fine job, or maybe not a fine job, but fine results. He got a bit lucky in the 2021 Gold Cup. Where he really struggled was in World Cup qualifying, because that's when him, or Greg Berhalter, and the boys, the players, had to put big boy pants and play away from home. And you know what? They loved taking a massive dump inside of those big boy pants when they played away from home. We really did. We were terrible away under Berhalter, and that's something that has to change. The only problem is Pochettino won't play World Cup qualifying, so I'm pretty sure he might actually play 0 games outside of the US until the end of the 2026 World Cup. For the next 2 years, we will likely only play in the United States of America. And we don't know if Pochettino will stay after that. So that part, he really won't be able to win away in CONCACAF because we might never play away in CONCACAF at all. Before the 2026 World Cup, he will have the Gold Cup in 2025 and he'll have the Nations League in 2025. So again, he has to win those 2 trophies. I think that's the standard that we should hold this team. Beat Mexico, beat Canada, beat Jamaica, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Honduras, Costa Rica, whoever we play. Nations League in 2025 and Gold Cup. Win both trophies. The second task of his to-do list is to fix the mentality of this very talented generation that we have. If he fails to do this, everything else will probably not work out. Like, he won't accomplish everything else that I'm going to talk about in this video. And if he can adjust the mentality of this team, get the mindset right, change the culture, and build an identity, this team can actually do well even when Pochettino leaves after 2026, if he leaves. And here are a couple things, some issues that we've seen with the United States men's national team in recent years. The players seem to think that the US men's national team camp is the equivalent to a summer camp. That has to change. They want to just go out there, have fun, do whatever they want, nothing really matters. That has to change as soon as possible. We used to have players that had some fight in them, players you didn't really want to mess with. The current players are talented, more than the previous ones in my opinion, but they don't really have that dog in them, until proven otherwise at least. Pochettino has to improve that, the culture. And honestly, this can have a lot of long-term implications, like positive long-term implications for the national team. Like, don't let Tyler Adams think he's in charge and play whenever he wants, even when he's injured. And the stupid leadership council that Berhalter had. Demand Weston McKennie to always be in shape. Find a player that can truly be a leader. Don't let players get complacent. Demand more than the previous clown in charge did. Another challenge is the fact that most of the players that we have are not really protagonists for their clubs, in Europe at least. Many of them play, and they even play well, but they're not in the protagonist role. It's like you have a starting 11 with 11 Robins and no Batman. And I know there's only one Batman, Bruce Wayne, but our team kind of needs like 2 to 3 Batmans and a bunch of Robins surrounding them. What we can't have is 11 Robins. 11 Robins kind of sucks, right? A Batman and a Robin, that's a really good duo. A Robin and a Robin, that's poo-poo. And for that, the mindset has to change with the national team. We have players that are talented enough to take that prominent role, but the mindset has to be there. Last but not least, we need to create an identity. We used to have one. We would defend, grind, and counterattack our opponents. What is our identity right now? I don't know. For some reason, we decided to become a possession-based team that likes to build out of the back, and I don't think that's working. And maybe Pochettino can try that, right? Be a possession-based team that can press and build out of the back. I don't think that worked well under Berhalter. Maybe he gets it to work. Regardless, my overall point is we need to build an identity. The current team doesn't have one, besides being soft. That's the identity they seem to have built. So that's another challenge for Mauricio Pochettino. So the task here, just to oversimplify it, build an identity and change the mentality of this team, the whole culture of this team right now, the program. And you may be wondering, this jersey right here, this was sent to me by Sangalo. If you want to buy very unique jerseys of this New York-based company, the link will be in the description. They're beautiful, there are plenty of options, and they're much cheaper than your regular jersey in, you know, all the stores right there. So I'm going to put the link in the description. You can check it out if you want to, of course. Okay, task number 3 of Mauricio Pochettino's to-do list is something that many might even disagree with me with this one, because it's not really the role of the national team coach to demand more of the domestic leagues. I mean, he could, but it's not like that's part of his job. But this is task number 3. I want him to demand more or hold accountable the domestic leagues. I want him to push them to become better. I want Pochettino to be outspoken about both or all of our domestic leagues. Talk about MLS, talk about USL. This guy has extensive knowledge of the game and respect. They will listen. Will they change because of him? Probably not, but it will put pressure. USL can help raise our floor, but only MLS right now can help raise our ceiling. Look, and I would love to have promotion relegation, and Pochettino probably would too, and he could even mention it, but I doubt he'll do it. And understand that that will likely not happen because Pochettino said so, so there's no point on talking about that this specific video. He won't be there for 20 years, so why would he care about that specifically? And he's also not American. Regardless, he can push the leagues to be better, improve the quality of the leagues, youth development, call them out. Don't call up washed up MLS veterans. The best players in MLS, they're not even American. Essentially, to be in the national team while you're playing MLS, you have to be a very promising U21 player, like a very good one. And then at any age, you would have to be a top 3 player in MLS at your position, like very dominant. I know some try to call me MLS hater, but I want whatever's best for soccer in the United States of America. If that means MLS and USL growing and getting better, I am with them. I don't agree with the route that many of them are taking. I don't agree with the closed pyramid, and we need to demand more. But again, I want whatever is better for soccer in this country. And if that means MLS and USL getting better, then I'm for it. And I think Pochettino can demand more and put pressure in those leagues, or for the players to leave and go abroad, challenge themselves like Klinsmann did quite a bit. I'm with him. So again, one of his tasks is to push the leagues to get better, which would just improve US soccer as a whole. Task number 4 is to continue to recruit dual nationals. Being a US men's national team coach means you have to continue to recruit dual nationals. It doesn't matter if they're developed in the US or developed abroad. We have a country where a good percentage of our population has another passport, or at least is eligible to having another passport. We have a lot of immigrants here. So you have to continue to recruit. You can't ignore that process. And let's say, for example, there's maybe a 16-year-old or 17-year-old player that you need to recruit that maybe is developed in the US or abroad. I know Pochettino will probably not use him this cycle, but recruit him for the long term. Build a legacy off that. And of course, the players that can have an immediate impact, like I talked about, I think Coleocho can add some depth to our winger. There's a lot of players that could already help right now. But we did a whole video talking about that the day prior to this one, so you can go check that out. Regardless, my overall point, do not ignore the recruiting process, whether it is a player for the future or for now. Pochettino must recruit. That's part of the job of being a United States men's national team coach. Task number 5, the last one, is obviously about the 2026 World Cup. The World Cup is where he can change the way the world sees US soccer, and since it's going to be in the United States of America, that's how he'll be able to also change the way American sports fans see US soccer, or at least see the US men's national team, right? Because the US women's national team, everyone knows they're really good, but the US men's national team is more or less a joke among the average American sports fan. The 2026 World Cup is where he can change that. With that said, what does he have to accomplish? What is the bare minimum? What would be considered a successful World Cup? And what would be an overachievement? Let me know your opinion, but I'm about to tell you mine. Okay, now keep in mind that the 2026 World Cup is expanded, so it's gonna have an extra knockout round game. So you have the group stage, then you have the round of 32, round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, and final. If you go to the previous World Cup, once you get out of the group, you go immediately to the round of 16. So making it to the round of 16 this time means you would win one knockout game, which we haven't done since 2002 when we made it to the quarterfinals and we defeated Mexico in the round of 16. To me, the bare minimum of that World Cup is the round of 16. I would not consider that a success, but if you lose in the round of 16 to a title contender and put up a fight, I guess it's semi-acceptable. To me, a quarterfinals appearance is what we can call a successful World Cup. Semifinals would be a dream come true. It would be an overachievement. But to me, to come into the end of the World Cup and say, okay, this was successful, you need to at least make a quarterfinals run. Round of 16 is the bare minimum, and that would not be considered a success. I know Pochettino said that he wants to win the World Cup. I don't think he believes that. That's the right mindset, right? That's what he has to say. You take one game at a time and you try to win each game. But in my opinion, you have to win the round of 32. So that would be one knockout round. Win the round of 16 would be a second knockout round, and make it to the quarterfinals. Once you make it to the quarterfinals, who knows? It's a knockout game, 90 minutes, anything can happen. So just to summarize it once again, I think round of 16 is the bare minimum, quarterfinals is the success, and semifinals would be a dream come true. And I'm just gonna say this once again, right? He said he wants to win the World Cup. And if you're playing the World Cup, there's always a probability that you could win the World Cup. But the probability of actually winning the 2026 World Cup with the US men's national team is probably as low as, let's say, Logan Paul saying something intelligent. It's very slim. It barely happens. Does it ever happen? All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like before you go and let me know in the comment section. Once again, what do you want, or what do you think Mauricio Pochettino has to accomplish for the United States to consider this cycle a success? I want to thank you all very much for watching and have a great day.